The Beverly Copeland Report. I'm Beverly Copeland. I'm delighted today to continue my series with Joseph Weaver on his methodology, technique. It's a holistic approach to smoking cessation. He's written a great book on it, the Tao of Quitting Smoking. He recently gave a talk on his book at a local Barnes & Noble in the city. And if you've been following the series, you know that it's a holistic approach that incorporates a lot of different ideas to come up with a brand new and very, very important approach to smoking cessation. Also, if you tuned in last time, you know that Joseph is the winner of the 2002 American Cancer Society Great American Smoke Out Award, the prestigious 2002 American Cancer Society a Great American Smokeout Award for his leadership in building a smoke-free environment in New York City. Joseph is a former neuroscience researcher. He has studied, in addition to science, biology, he has studied yoga, reflexology, herbology, and meditation in Nepal and around the world, and has helped thousands of people quit smoking. It's a great, great book. We've been discussing some of the topics in it, and we're going to continue our discussion today. Joe from the community, again, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for writing the book. It's very, very helpful. And in fact, I read the book this week, and I've been eating less, so the lessons are transferable to stopping eating and stopping other naughty habits that we may have. And even though I'm not particularly a spiritual person, he means by spirituality, soul searching, being introspective, looking at why we do the things we don't like to do and how can we stop doing those things. So it's a great, great book. I highly recommend it. Now, Joe, can you summarize our discussion from the series so far?
Basically, the book is not forgetting about yourself. It's about examining yourself, of why, as Beverly said, is why you do the things that you don't want to do, and how to stop and how to reverse it. Most people fail when they try to quit smoking for the simple reason is they may not deal with the whole, and the whole equals not only the physical, but the psychological and also the spiritual. The spiritual is re-examining yourself. That's easily said than done because you need to do more. You need to examine yourself without judging it. You need also to have information. I, as the writer, give you that information so that together, on the logical, on the spiritual, and on the physical, you're able to quit smoking and also lose weight.
Yes, it's a great, great book. Very, very great book. And Joe, again, has been very, very, the American Cancer Society, he's won a prestigious award with them. He's literally helped thousands of people to stop, to break their addiction to nicotine. And the great thing about the book is that it explains what the dynamics of the nicotine addiction in a very useful way, very clearly, so it's very well written so that someone who is not a scientist can understand it, perhaps even for the very first time. Now, Joe, can you tell our viewers what exactly, we're going to talk about that in this whole, the biology and the chemistry and the addiction in this part of the series. Can you tell our viewers what nicotine is, Joe?
It's extremely simple. Nicotine is a drug. No other way to call it. It is a legal drug. What cigarettes is basically a way that the tobacco companies had made a product to deliver nicotine to our body. Nicotine is also a toxin, a poison, but it also has some type of properties that gets us hooked on the physical. Why does it do that? I spoke in the last series about how nicotine, as a student who had many different emotions, where sometimes I felt depressed because maybe of grades, sometimes I needed that extra boost to get me through the day, how was it that nicotine was able to do that? Well, nicotine itself is a chemical, and it works in our brain as the lock and key method. Nicotine comes, attaches to part of your brain, and it causes different chemicals in your bodies to be released. So if you are stressed, nicotine can work as a depressant. It can actually make you feel good. And that's done by, I'm sure most people have heard, the feel-good drugs. Those feel-good drugs are the drugs such as when you win a race, or when you're jogging, when you're having your favorite food, feeling in love. Those chemicals, such as dopamine, when you have nicotine, it goes to your bloodstream, goes to the lungs, goes directly to the brain. It relieves those dopamines out, so you feel relieved. When you're down and when you're feeling that you need a boost, nicotine can also help with concentration. So a lot of people say, I can't quit because I'm in school. You know, I need to concentrate. I need to pass my exams. I can't quit because I don't want to gain weight. In nicotine, well, there's many elements in the compound nicotine that can cause changes in your brain chemistry. For instance, people who are depressed can be smoking cigarettes because of the nicotine acting as an antidepressant. So in reality, they're smoking to actually self-medicate themselves. So this is what the book talks about. The book is, yes, going inward and finding out who you are, but it's more than that. It's a holistic plan, which means speaking with your doctor, your healthcare professional. It's about thinking about a plan about when you do quit and the withdrawal symptoms. It's about going inward. It's also, which we didn't talk about, of learning to substitute. What happens when you get rid of the nicotine, you have the withdrawal symptoms, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling tired, you can't concentrate, you want to punch a wall. How are you going to replace that? Eating? No, that's one way you can do it, but that's not the most advantageous way to do it. The way to get those dopamines and those chemicals back is eating right, is fruits, lots of water. It's also exercise. Exercise releases the same types of chemicals, not in a high concentration as nicotine does, but if you do it regularly, exercise can do that. Finding yourself, going inward, and this is the crust of my approach is by going inward, by taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes per day or 3 times a week to think, to meditate. And I'm not talking about a Buddhistic way of meditation. A simplistic way of meditating can cause your brain cells to release different chemicals that can replace the loss of nicotine in your body. So that's what I try to do. I try to do it on a scientific approach to replace it without the patch, but you may be a candidate for the patch. I'm not an advocate for a nicotine patch, but for certain people, the nicotine patch would be really good. For other people, Cyban would be a better alternative for people who smoke maybe a pack to 2 packs a day, because there may be some depression going on. And you shouldn't leave that to yourself. You should work with your physician. You should work with your health professional.